You know, there are movies, and then there are movies. The kind that don't just entertain you, they kind of get under your skin. Today, we're diving deep into one of those giants, City of God. We're going to break down exactly what makes this film not just a great movie, but a true cinematic masterpiece. So, let's get right into it.
I mean, just look at that quote. We're kicking things off with a pretty bold statement, right? Not just good or great, but one of the most gripping, intense, and visually striking films ever made. Wow, that is a huge claim. So the big question is, how does a film earn that kind of praise? What's the secret sauce?
Well, at the heart of it all, you've got these two kids, Rocket and Lil Zé. They grow up in the exact same place, the same brutal reality, but they take two completely different paths. You've got Rocket, the observer, right? He's got his camera, and his dream is just to get out. And then you've got Lil Zé. He grabs a gun, and his dream is to take over. It's this clash, this collision of art versus violence that really powers the whole story.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick off with why it's a masterpiece, then dissect the film's anatomy. After that, we'll dive into the themes that hit so hard, wrestle with the whole choice versus destiny question, and wrap it all up with the final verdict. Okay, first section, a cinematic masterpiece. So what really makes a film go from just really good to, an all-timer? Let's unpack those 5-star reviews and find out. So the film spans 3 decades, and you can literally feel the tension ratchet up with each passing year. It kicks off in the 60s, when the favelas are just starting to grow. Fast forward to the 70s, and bam! Gang warfare just explodes. Then you hit the 80s, and it all comes to this incredibly violent, intense climax. So this isn't just a simple timeline, right? It's really the story of how a whole generation, an entire community, gets twisted and defined by violence.
So, how on earth did they pull this off? Let's get into the anatomy of the film. We're going to look at what I'm calling the 4 pillars of its genius.
And here they are. You've got raw storytelling, truly authentic performances, some seriously gritty cinematography, and a narrative that is just rock solid. Let's dig into each one of these.
Okay, first pillar, raw storytelling. And what do we mean by that? Well, this film does not pull any punches, none. It absolutely refuses to look away from the harsh reality of it all. The gang violence, the kids with guns, the drug wars, that endless grinding cycle of poverty. It's all right there, front and center. It's brutal, for sure, but that unfiltered honesty is what makes it so powerful.
So how do you get that kind of realism? This is where things get really interesting. The filmmakers made an incredibly bold move. They didn't hire a bunch of Hollywood actors. They cast actual kids from the real favelas, most of whom had never acted before. And the result? It's just incredible. It doesn't feel like you're watching a performance at all. It feels like you're watching real life unfold. A huge gamble, but man, did it pay off.
All right, let's talk about the look of the film, because it's a huge part of the experience. The camera doesn't just sit back and watch. No way. It throws you right into the chaos. You've got that fast, almost frantic editing, the shaky handheld shots that make you feel like you're right there, and the super vibrant color that just pops off the screen. It all comes together to create this feeling of total immersion. You're not just a spectator, you feel like you're running for your life right alongside the characters.
And that brings us to the final pillar, the story itself. And this is not your simple linear plot, not at all. It's more like a giant, intricate spider web. It juggles so many different characters and timelines, but here's the brilliant part. It never gets confusing. Everything connects. You see how a tiny choice made by one person over here has these massive, life-altering consequences for someone else way over there. It's just masterfully done. Okay, so we've talked about the how, the filmmaking genius. Now let's get into the what. What is this film really about? That brings us to the themes, and trust me, they hit hard. This is the real heart of the movie. And man, these themes are heavy. You've got this vicious, inescapable cycle of violence, where one act of revenge just sparks the next one and the next. Then there's the suffocating poverty and inequality that fuels everything. You see the tragedy of lost childhoods, kids forced to grow up way too fast. And of course, how power just corrupts absolutely everyone it touches. But underneath it all, there's this one fundamental theme tying it all together: pure, raw survival. So when you put all those heavy themes together, they all point to this one huge philosophical question. This is the idea that lifts City of God from being just a crime movie to something more. We're talking about choice versus destiny.
Yeah, just think about Rocket and Lil Zé again. The film is basically asking us, are we just products of our environment? Is your fate sealed the day you're born into a certain place? Or is there still room for choice? Can you actually shape your own destiny, even when every single card is stacked against you. What's so amazing is that the film never spoon-feeds you an answer. It just leaves you to wrestle with it.
All right, it's time to bring it all home. Let's get to the final verdict and really nail down why City of God is just unforgettable.
I mean, what else is there to say? 5 out of 5 stars. It's a perfect score, plain and simple. It's the kind of rating a film gets when it just perfectly executes on its vision. No notes.
So yeah, if you had to boil it all down, what is City of God? It's brutal, it's emotional, and it's absolutely unforgettable. It's not just a masterpiece of Brazilian film, it's a masterpiece of world cinema, period.
And I want to leave you with this last thought because it really just says it all. It's not just a film, it's an experience. And that is so true because of how raw it is, how real the actors feel, how it just sucks you in. City of God isn't a movie you simply watch from your couch. It's something you live through for 2 hours. And that, right there, is what makes it a masterpiece.